This is Infotainment. Ukamva sasi chonjigulira ndekuti nkhani za msanguluso zimakhala kuti zabwera. Tikuzeni kuti kunali chani nkhani za msanguluso komanso kukhalenso chani nkhani za msanguluso. And my name is Sam Banda Jr. In this edition, Pungu Joseph Mkasa returns and stars for Mikosi by public demand. And again, we also look back to look at the exploits of dramatists, actors, as we celebrate theater. The month of March is a month which is full of celebrations of theater. On March 20, we are celebrating the World Day Theater for Children, and then coming up on March 27, we have the World Theater Day. So we look back, would want you to appreciate the exploits of the geniuses in theater, the names of Duchi Caesar Jr. and Frank Patani Mwase, who will give you a clip of how they used to do starring in those days. We have that, or you can do is stay right there as I bring you more in Infotainment, a basket full of arts and entertainment. Now, we begin our program with news that the month of March is a month where we celebrate theater. On March 20, we celebrate the World Day Theater for Children, where we appreciate the exploits of theater in terms of children and young people. And also, the same month of March, we also look at the World Theater Day coming up. That's on March 27. And if we go back to the month of February, we remember the exploits of one of the theater geniuses, that's Duchi Caesar Jr. So to celebrate theater, we thought of giving you something to appreciate the talents of talented actors. That's Frankie Patani Mwase as well as Duchi Caesar Jr. Let's take a look at how they used to star. And this production this performance actually was at the Theater Maker. That's the French Cultural Center in those days, and now it's called the Blunder Cultural Center. Let's see how they used to act.
We want the fight. Yes. We want the fight, but if we are not careful, we are going to lose the battle. The reasons being selfishness. Everyone wants to be a leader.
I can make a better leader. I have the experience.
The question is, what type of experience? Constructive experience or destructive experience?
Well, I have been detained a number of times. I feel that I can make a better leader.
Is detention supposed to be a certificate or endorsement for you to be a leader? Or should your suffering draw our sympathy to endorse you as a better leader?
See, I was there when we were forming the pressure group. And then I feel I deserve a ministerial post. What do you think is the presidency?
Who forced you? Who forced you? Volunteer! In any case, it is not the referendum question that is being asked. It is the leadership question.
Oh, we come from the South. And we feel that we people from the South, we can make better leaders.
Were you alone in voting? Did people from the center not vote?
Oh, we come from the North. And since Kihara comes from the North, and was the first person to go for the referendum, I feel that we people from the North, we can make better leaders.
Are you forgetting the bishops? If that is the case, then we can say that Archbishop Chuwana can make a better president. And are you trying to resurrect the Christian Liberation Party?
Oh, my friend.
Yeah, that's the beauty of acting coming from Duchi Caesar Jr. To your right, that's Duchi Caesar Jr. And to the left, For those of you watching, to the left is Frank Patani Mwase. All we can say is may their souls continue to rest in peace. But they did quite a very good job in terms of laying the foundation of theater. And as we celebrate March as the month of theater, we say big up to Duchi Caesar Jr., big up to Frank Patani Mwase for the exploits in theater. It's not only Duchi Caesar as well as Frank Patani Mwase, but there are so many actors who've done quite a great work in terms of propelling theater in the country. You talk about theater darling, Gertrude Webster Kamkwatira, so many actors who have passed on, but they've done a very good job. But being the month of March, we thought we should celebrate by having that performance of Duchi Caesar Jr. as well as Frank Patani Mwase at the theater or the entertainment maker, that's the French Cultural Center, as it used to be in those days. But now things are a bit on a low in terms of that fluidity or the vibrancy of the French Cultural Center, which is now known as Blanda Cultural Center. It's under rehabilitation. We do hope those good old days will come back. Remember, you're watching Infotainment, a basket full of arts and entertainment, and my name is Sam Banda Jr. Moving out of theater, we go into music. The name Pungu Joseph Mkasa is not new in the world of music in the country. He's someone who people have appreciated his music. His music is basically very rich and mature. He does compositions which have entertained people as well as changed the mindset of people. So he's been out of the limelight for a longer time, but then Mikozi Network decided to dangle a poll through the social media, and by public demand, people decided that Pungu Joseph Mkasa should come back to the stage and show his exploits. So we captured the moments as Mikozi gives us more about the performance of Pungu Joseph Mkasa performing live. He performed on Thursday, giving out the best of his music as Pungu Joseph Mkasa. Let's take a look to the performance of Pungu Joseph Mkasa.
Mkwindi soka ndimi uwe inalira uteni ambawi mutsipela njini komawo chachikulu sipempera moyo hayo pansi mwatingambira kumbuyo sandiyankulise pambali pamene pakali ndikupaona anzatu mukusamba pati tiuzeni chinsinsi chanu kapena muendera mwambiwo kuti yamwayi ndi yamwayi mavuto sawo na nkhope anzanu tikufuchiri tikusamba chotopanda tsopo na bolamula ufana nditope mawalaliwisiri ndapota kale chingwe changa ndikazikoleka muntengwa baba ndaesesa muntu wasoka kwaindi soka ndimi kuwe inalira uta abawi muzipela njinu chachikulu zipempera moyo achuma nanu mutsiremekeza osauka tikamaso sabwe msamati yeso tembeleredwa tilibe chifukwa kapena mangawa ndi mulungu kamatiseka mmakala ngati mukutisusula mabala umbawu amene alibe madokota sitimada kawe ife chachikulu na bola moyo chauta mwini ndiye mwe adziwa kusinda nyengo kasauka usatenga chingwe kuzipa nacho ndikuuzeni ngati munafika kwa mayaka tebauleni pasitolo yawo analemba zabwino zili nsogolo usalire nzangabo sauka tizipemba mulungu zabwino zili nsogolo tizalemera ife tizachita bwino tizatsangala tawi yatu isafika.
The best of Nkasa's performing at the Mikosi Network Studios, that's in Blantyre, showing how he can do it on the stage. And you can see that's why people voted that he should come back on stage, he should come back for that performance on Mikosi Network. And it trended on social media. A lot of people have appreciated his performance, and we do hope this is the beginning of more things to come this year in 2021 for Joseph Nkasa. A lot of people have appreciated his talent, and some of the people basically have come in to say they would want him to continue performing. So we do hope you continue doing that, as well as bringing in new music. That's Pungu Joseph Nkasa giving us some of his songs. Remember, you're watching Infotainment, a basket full of arts and entertainment. Moving out of music, we go to poetry. Now, the name Benedicto Wokomatani Malunga is not new for those who followed poetry. He's a legendary poet. He's done quite a number of verses in terms of poetry. And who can forget the anthem, Ndizakutengera Kunyanja Ligneti? And that's an anthem a lot of people appreciate the skills that Benedicto Wokomatani Malunga breathed into this poem, Ndizakutengera Kunyanja Ligneti. And last Sunday, he had time to share some of his poetry to an impressive audience at HS Winehouse in Blantyre. That's on Sunday, as I've said. And he shared the stage with musician Faith Musa. But we're looking at this time, we'll only look at poetry, and then we'll come back to give you the performances of Faith Musa and other musicians. So we are basically concentrating on the works of Benedicto Wokomatani Malunga. And we also had another youthful poet by the name of Jane. She also had a share of her poetry. So we look at how Benedicto Wokomatani Malunga performed during the show at HS Winehouse in Blantyre. And again, later this month, the month of March, you'll be out with a new anthology, a new poetry anthology titled Ulariki Wamoto will come out. So this was more like a warm-up for him. We hear from Benedicto Wokomatani Malunga, as well as a youthful poet by the name of Jane.
Banhanga sikimvera ochiphunzitsa kusaka chipasupasu chimadza mtima olunzanitsa zonse ponyenyeka chiwonongeko chitsala pa dzikoli. WB Yeats kubwera wachiwiri. I therefore have no choice but to give you what you love most. I've been asked several times, when you were composing this poem, was there a woman in your life? I said, you don't know how lonely bachelors feel. I was a young bachelor that time and looking for my own platonic Madonna, if you may call her thus. So she was in the clouds, and I was imagining how I would spoil her if she landed in these arms that are as huge as Nsengwa Zogawira Nsima. Undinyoza inde undinyozera kusadziwa, undilalatira ndidziwa, undilalatira kusamvetsa, undisokola ndikhulupirira, undisokolera kuswa chikhulupiriro. Komabe sindisiya kukupempha kuti titsagane kumangoji ligineti nkakuonetse kukoma kwa nyanja, nkakuululire zogona mu mtima wanga, zomwe ni makumba ntakuchitira iwe chakudya cha maso anga. Sindirema nkukuyang'ana thupi lako ligineti, thupi londimvetsa bwazi ndi chilako lako kasupe otonthoza chipemba cha chikondi changa chosandithawa ngati khoza la chikole mu mkono mausunga pangano. Ndiwe muni odzitsa kuwala kwa chikondi mphala mwakachisolotsolo kotopa ndi chiyembekezo chobwera ndi chikhulupiriro. Ndiwenso tubulangete lolenga chiyanjano cha zipsepse za nkhunda zopanga chitsukwa. Ninkoda ndikufuna ukamve kulira kwa mphazi zovina chintali mwamba mamphambe maso zitatongola tongo matiwali anda zisanawagwe madzi nkugwira chambo cha tsoka phoso la tsikulo nkhomaliro yokoma. Chati zingachi chati dzidzimutsachi chitibweteka chitisosola chitithambitsa chitizwetetsa chitigodola chatitutumutsachi chatizuzundachi chatidodometsachi chatitibulachi chatikhobolachi mchirombo mchipsinjodi mchimbunadi mchikutumbwedi mchingwenyadi chakulitsa chatizwizitsa chatikhumatitsa chatifingitsa chakakitsa tokha chitiminitsa chatambalalitsa patokha chitipoteretsa wosathandizidwa takayika kuchisenza ndi gondolo chitichinyiza kuchita chitimatirira nchokakamira kuchikankha chitigwetsa nchamakani kuchipherera chitichola nchanyonga kuchimasula chitipasula nchadzitho kuchigulula chitigwedula nchigawenga.
Yes, asungwana kufuna usankhanya marawa musamavomerera chisoni muzanong'oneza bondo popeza munawa sakupanganyika. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the beauty of poetry. Benedicto Komatani Malunga giving us a share of some of his verses, and this was more like a warm-up, as I said, for his anthology, which is coming out later this month. That's Ulaliki Wamoto. And you also heard from a young poet by the name of Jane, starring at H.S. Winehouse in Blantyre. It was not only poetry, it was a share of poetry and music. And I did say earlier that we also had music. That's why it was all a package of the best of art, music and poetry meeting together. So we now shift from poetry, we go to music. So Faith Musa had to share the stage with Benedicto Okomata and Malunga. But in between Faith Musa's performance as well as Benedicto Okomata and Malunga, people also sampled performances coming from Annie Marie Queen as well as Desire Manda. They performed. Faith Musa had to perform with Omex Chimpeni on percussions, as well as producer and keyboardist Gresham Mokwena. We sample how it was in terms of the performances of Faith Musa, Desire Manda, Annie Marie Queen, as well as Gresham Mokwena and Omex Chimpeni. Let's take a look.
In the midst of colors and drum beats, I found my dreams were made of this. And in the kindness of a stranger, I'll tell you what's so strange. Come and join us, help us sing.
Yeah, that's how it was. You can see performances. The last one to perform was you've heard from Desire Amanda, a young artist who is doing quite well, based in Blantyre as well. And you also heard from Faith Musa, dishing out a number of songs, and he couldn't skip Mdidi as well as Desperate. He also offered that, and you heard from Annie Marie Queen as well, another exciting artist who's doing quite well. And recently he just released her new album titled Blue Skies Thinking. And this Sunday, Annie Marie Queen will be performing at HS Winehouse in Blantyre, sharing the stage with a comedian known as Sauzande. Moving on in infotainment, a basket for arts and entertainment, we go back to theater. I was just saying the month of March is very special in terms of theater, because that's when we celebrate the World Theater Day for Children, as well as the World Theater Day coming up on March 27. But the World Theater Day for Children comes up on March 20. So we caught up with Fumbani Piri. He's a playwright as well as an actor starring for YDC. He's been advocating for the performances of children. So we caught up with him just to take us through how key is World Day Theatre for Children, as well as what they are doing in terms of the activities coming up to celebrate this day, as well as celebrating theatre this month of March. So we caught up with Fumbani Peter, as I said, and we hear what he says.
No, let that go. That is protecting us from meeting them. That is blocking us from speaking to these people.
These walls, that wall, the walls that surround us all, we cannot walk through them.
They're talking about memories.
Their memories.
Their dream.
World Theatre Day is a key day whereby we commemorate every event, every element of theatre for children, and basically for young audience as well. So this day is whereby we have to come together and interact, or to do some workshops, or maybe to facilitate some other areas to look upon where we are improving in the industry about theatre for children and young people. So likely this day has made with the day of World Congress, Stage World Congress, whereby we interact more from 20th up to 2nd April. To be honest, we haven't done much enough into this area of theatre for children. It's only some partner festivals we can see, like Art and Drama Festival, NAS Fest, and mainly French Drama Festival, which promote theatre for children for secondary level. So we have other part we need to work on, like students in primary schools, in nursery. So when we say theatre for children, it's not only those in secondary schools. We interact with or even in primary schools. And in the other countries, we even interact with those babies. We go to theatre for babies. So it is a key law for us theatre artists to work with these youngsters, because if we take these children to theatre to watch a performance, or we interact with them in any law plays, let's bring them on stage and interact with them. We can watch them, because a child story interact with a biggest element in the society. If we train a kiddo into such an element, to be an actor, to be a writer, we will have better plays in the future. First of all, we say the one who designed these days, like on 20th World Theatre Day for children and young people, on 27th World Theatre Day. And he had a plan whereby, okay, let's start with those children and young people, then we glow up on World Theatre Day. And it's a key law whereby we can dedicate the whole week to some panel discussions, how to improve from theatre for children then to other theatre. I think having this day is like any other day whereby you celebrate your own career. Like in Malawi, we need to set up this day as a special day for us to interact. Like next week we will have a performance whereby we commemorate this event of World Theatre Day. We'll do a performance at Wine House, a performance whereby we can interact, a performance whereby at the end of the day we'll sit down and discuss how can we improve theatre, how can we do theatre in our own country and improve it better.
We are getting more from YDC telling us about the World Theatre Day for Children. On that note, we've come to the very end of Infotainment, a basket full of arts and entertainment. I hope you've enjoyed what I brought unto you, especially in this edition. My name is Sam Banda Jr. As always, keep on watching TTV or Times Television or Infotainment. But before I go, I'll leave you with a performance of one Wilfred Laston. He's been doing covers, performing in different places, and has attracted interest from a lot of people. I'll leave you with an interview I had with him as well as his performance. I'm out of here, as I said. Ciao.
Little time to think things over. I better read between the lines. Guess I need it when I'm older. This mountain I must climb. Inezina ngeli ndi Wilfred Laston. Limeni machuma nalo antomati amanichapuli piano man. Ani ndizina hapa mwa management pa stage. Kuimba ndi niyo namba ndi chamuzi watu. Fucha kuzomba utondo. Nali abale ange nagamena ka swesa tizidalimbira ati. Mwabira nditu nthawi zina makai mapita ndalo kuseli kwa ulonga ndokabwesera. Chocho yoncho anakona kuti afane kwanga titu kwakuzifuna zetu. Nda anateka kena kuti basa kena basi kichia jambo tajiti ndakhala ndimba kwambira 10 years ago ndikuphunzira zaka zina ngati 5 ndikupanga kuphunzira yoncho kena ko zaka zina zimene zili ngati 5 zina zimene zokhala ngati ndamba kuchita zinthu zokupyasa pano. Ndakhabudi ndajusa chimbali kusogolo zikuza kuyenda ndeno mwachitikira chikasoma mwayi kuti ndapeza munthu amene akutithandiza pano. Follow the leader.